Hey guys, what's going on? It's Draco in here, and we are back with another predictions video. We're almost done with these. So, yeah, and some teams have already clinched their spots into the playoffs. I'm still hoping that my Panthers can come back and win the division, since we still can, and make their way into the playoffs, even if their first round exits. So, yeah, uh, we're going to predict week 16. So after this, there's only 2 weeks left in the season. First up, we got the Jaguars taking on the Jets. I'm going to take the Jags for this one. I think that the Jags just look like a better team right now. And since Zach Wilson is starting, I don't think that they have as good of a chance as the Jaguars do. Next up, we got the Texans taking on the Titans. Upset alert, Texans get the victory over the Titans. Look, the Texans have just been playing amazing football. They've been giving Super Bowl contending teams a run for their money as of late. Like, they almost beat the Chiefs last week. And the Titans, they're like the exact opposite. They're just doing terrible right now. And that's even with Derrick Henry. Yeah. The Texans are going to be able to beat the Titans here. They're finally going to get over the hump. Next up, we got the Falcons taking on the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens for this game because their rushing game is still a lot better, and their defense can easily take out Atlanta's offense. Plus, Atlanta still does not have Kyle Pitts. Desmond Ridder has been... he did only play one game, but he lost that game. And it was to a mid-team, I should say, in the Saints. So, I don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Ravens, who look like they're going to be a playoff team this year. Next up, we got the Giants taking on the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings again. I just don't feel confident enough to take anyone else. Every time I pick the Vikings, they win. Or every time I don't pick the Vikings, I should say, they end up winning. So, it's really, I don't know when they're going to lose. They're just so good, but every other week they just shit the bed. And as for the Giants, they've been doing okay. I think they'll still be able to make the playoffs. That win against the Commanders was huge. So, yeah, I think that they'll still be able to compete for the playoffs even if they do lose this week, which I predict they will. Next up, we got the Seahawks taking on the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs for this one. It's in Arrowhead, and it's against a team that's been struggling a lot as of late. And as for Seattle, this pretty much ends their playoff chances, which really sucks for them because they were looking like a really strong team throughout the season, a lot stronger than people thought they were going to be. Next up, we got the Eagles taking on the Cowboys. You know what? I'm still going to take the Eagles even though Jalen Hurts is out. I feel like Gardner Minshew is not that bad. So I think that he's still going to be able to get the ball to Miles Sanders, who still he's a 1,000-yard running back this year. So I think that Miles Sanders is still going to be able to do a lot. Plus, that defense is definitely going to be able to stop the Cowboys' offense. At least the D-line is. Because the Cowboys' O-line is meh right now. Next up, we got the Raiders taking on the Steelers. Both of these teams won last week. And really, I was struggling to pick this game. But I'm going to pick the Steelers for this one because I feel like the Steelers, they've just been playing pretty good. And usually around this time of the year, they start to perform well. That's what keeps getting them in the playoffs. That's what keeps getting them these winning records, is these late-season late-season charges by Mike Tomlin. He's good at that stuff. And as for the Raiders, I don't know if this officially eliminates them from playoff contention, but if they lose, I believe it will. So yeah, this is a huge game for both teams. This is also a huge game for the Patriots, who are taking on the Bengals, because the Patriots are out of the playoffs, and I think they are going to remain that way when the Bengals beat them. If they beat them, I should say. But yeah, the Patriots, you guys, you're pretty much done. I don't know what else to say. It's going to be really hard for you guys to catch back up. It's not been a good last couple weeks for you guys. And as for the Bengals, they look like they're going to win the North again this year, which is pretty good, except for they're going to have another North team in the playoffs this year that can actually compete, I should say, as in the Baltimore Ravens. Next up, we got the Lions taking on the Panthers. I'm going to take the Lions for this one. The Lions, they're a playoff team. I think that they're solidly a playoff team at this point. They have been playing like gods these past few weeks. And nothing against the Panthers. Like, the Panthers are pretty decent. I should know. I'm a fan of theirs. But, I mean, the Lions, you guys look like you could be this year's Bengals. I mean, they're both cat teams. Next up, we got the Commanders taking on the 49ers. I'm going to go with another upset here. I think that the Commanders win this game. I feel like the 49ers, they've already locked up their division. I don't think that they're going to try as hard for the rest of the year, even though they probably should anyway, but I feel like they're going to try to rest their starters for the playoffs, because they're going to have to play in the wild card round, and they might have to play against a tougher team, like say, Washington. But Washington, I believe, is still going all out for a playoff spot, so I think that they'll be the 49ers players. Next up, we got the Bills taking on the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bills here. I know they're already locked into the playoffs, but it's like the Bears just... I mean, the Bears aren't bad, but I don't think they're going to be like a Commanders beating the 49ers thing. I think that the Commanders will still lose to the Bills, even if they have their second stringers out. That's how bad I think they are. Except for Justin Fields. You're good. Next up, we got the Saints taking on the Browns. I'm going to go with the Saints for this game. I believe, if I'm right, this will tie the Saints with the Bucs if the Bucs don't win this week. Which would be interesting, because the Bucs are still leading that division, but the Saints, I was counting them out a few weeks ago. And I was thinking that they were going to finish last in the division, but they've been playing all right as of late, and Deshaun Watson still looks like garbage. Even though they did just beat the Ravens, but that was because the Ravens, I don't know, they just didn't show up this week. Next up, we got the Packers taking on the Dolphins. I believe it will be a Dolphins victory. The Dolphins slump ends here, and that's nothing against the Packers. I mean, the Packers, they did just win against the Rams. I mean, that's not saying very much considering they were at home against Baker Mayfield, but still. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Dolphins when the Dolphins are at home. Next up, we got the Buccaneers taking on the Cardinals. I believe the Cardinals season is pretty much over at this point, so the Buccaneers are going to win this game and indeed keep that division lead. But the Saints now have a one-game advantage over Carolina and Atlanta if these predictions keep going as they are planned. Next up, we got the Tank Bowl of the week. I'm pretty sure both of these teams are mathematically eliminated at this point. It's the Broncos taking on the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams to win the game, but it's not really much of a win considering they're out of the playoffs already. And the Broncos still suck. But hey, at least they have a division mate that can join them at the eliminated from the playoffs contention after this week club, and that's the Cardinals. And the last game of the week, it's the Monday night game, Chargers taking on the Colts. This will be a Chargers victory. I don't know what's going on over there in Indianapolis. They're apparently starting Nick Foles this weekend. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, but I mean, Indy, what are you doing? I feel like they're planning to tank next year. I mean, Caleb Williams is going to be available in the draft next year, and they're good at tanking for quarterbacks. I mean, just ask Andrew Luck. So anyway, that is going to do it for this week's predictions, week 16. I didn't get this out in the last couple days. I just had a lot going on. So if you were wondering, which I don't think any of you were, but if you were wondering, yeah, that's what happened. And comment down below any changes you would make. All right, I will see you guys in the next one.